Welcome to another episode of SCL Tips. I'm your host, SCL Matt. And as we get closer to another release of a new game, I want to cover some general practices, I guess, that Activision and the retailers put into place that will help you understand, especially if you're new to Skylanders, just how the releases work. Because I get the same questions every year. Why isn't this figure out yet? Where can I get this figure? And I have to tell them that it's in a different wave. Now, if you've been collecting other action figures or something before, you probably already understand waves. But if Skylanders is your first thing, I'm going to help try to explain it to you a little bit. So basically, like I said, Skylanders are shipped in waves. Typically throughout the year, there will be 5 waves. The first wave is the launch wave. It comes on day 1. Usually this has been in October, but for Skylanders Superchargers, it's coming up. It's going to be September 20th. Will be wave 1. This will include all your starter packs, along with roughly 50 to 60%. That's a little high. That's wave 1. Just wave 1. It's gonna give you probably 30 to 40% of the overall figures that will be available. And some people are gonna ask, why don't they just ship everything out right away so we can all pick it up day 1, go home, and play with what we want? Well, there's a couple reasons for this. First of all, it really helps the retailers. I mean, if any of you have worked or currently work in a retail store, you're going to understand this the best. But imagine that a new product comes out, they have 50 different varieties, and you have to fit them all on the shelf and keep them all stocked. It's just not going to happen, So they can't release, 40, 50 different characters all at once and expect stores to be able to put them on the shelves and keep them all there. It just doesn't work out. The other reason is, from a business standpoint for Activision, to make Skylanders a year-round event. They want to keep the game relevant, keep you talking about it. And I mean, it's worked out marvelously for them. Obviously, that we have sites dedicated solely to Skylanders. That just goes to show that people are interested, and if you were able to buy everything back in October, what would we be talking about now? Come January, February, you own everything that there is to buy for this game. You've used it all, you've played it all, put it away on a shelf, and that's it. But this way, with releasing new characters throughout the year, we have something to talk about. They have more things to sell. They can keep you interested. They can keep you coming back. If you didn't buy all the figures the first time around, maybe when you come back for a figure you really wanted, you'll pick up another one as well. Who knows? So yeah, getting back to wave 1, it's roughly 30 to 40% of the overall figure count for each game. But the tricky part then is wave 2. Wave 2 in Spyro's Adventure came out in November, about a month, almost exactly a month after wave 1. And for the most part, that holds true. You can't really expect to see a good stock of wave 2 until November. But in more recent years, especially Swap Force and Trap Team, wave 2 tends to come out about a week after wave 1. So they're almost right on top of each other, and people can get really confused sometimes. But wave 1 and wave 2 typically almost overlap. So with it, but even so, like I said, you probably can't expect a good stock until November. So within the first month or two, you're going to have wave 1, wave 2. And that is going to be probably about 50 to 60% of the overall figures. I mean, we're more than halfway there in just 2 waves. We still got 3 more waves to go. But the thing is, the shipping process isn't always so straightforward. And this can cause a lot of panic with new collectors, new players. So they have their ship dates set way ahead of time. And so when it's time to ship wave 2, they may not have, gotten all the wave 1 stock out of their warehouse, but they will they will push out 1 shipment of wave 2 items to all the major retailers. So they can they knew this was coming. They will get their wave 2 stock, but it will just be that 1 shipment. Then they will go back to shipping wave 1 items again until they get all those wave 1 items out of their warehouse, because they don't want them sitting around forever. They'd rather have them in the stores so they can be sold that way. And so they start shipping wave 1. You get the 1 shipment, the initial shipment of wave 2, then they go finish shipping wave 1. But that wave 2 shipment, that's going to sell out almost immediately, because everybody's expecting it now, and there's no replenishment right away. So once it's gone, it's gone. And this causes a lot of panic among collectors and fans, So I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't panic. There will be more. You just have to wait for them to finish getting the rest of wave 1 shipped. Then they will continue to ship wave 2. Once they have wave 2 shipping out, we'll run into the ship date for wave 3. And the same thing's going to happen all over. They're going to ship out 1 shipment of wave 3. Then they're going to finish shipping wave 2. And then we'll start getting more of wave 3. That's just how it's worked. It's been that way for 4 years now, and it's worked for them. So I don't see them changing that anytime soon. Just be prepared for it. Let's see. What else do I want to mention? Oh, wave 3. When we get to wave 3, be prepared for a split wave. I'm not sure it's going to work quite as well this year, because in past years, this is what has happened. Wave 3 comes up around the time of Christmas. So there's typically a big gap. It feels like a big gap because, wave 1 and 2 are stacked right on top of each other, and then you have to wait till like the end of December to get a new wave again. But really, I mean, you think about it, it's supposed to be October is wave 1, November is wave 2, December is wave 3. It's not that bad, but it can feel like a very long gap in between there. Wave 3, though, for the past 2 years has been a split wave. And what's happened is just days before Christmas, like sometime in the week right before Christmas, they'll release the core Skylanders for wave 3. But they will save the gimmick Skylanders. So it was, the Giants, the Swappers and Swap Force, or the Trap Masters until January. Because in the retail world, yes, there's a big push to shop right before Christmas, but then right after Christmas in January, that's when everybody is willing to spend again. They just got all their Christmas money or whatever, and they're going on a shopping spree. And so Activision has decided they want to have something new in stores then. So then after Christmas, we still have 2 waves left. Wave 4 will show up sometime in March, April. I mean, you'll start to see it at the end of March usually, but sometimes it gets pushed off into April. Um, but it'll come out eventually. And then Wave 5, it, some people don't even like calling it a wave because there's usually very few figures left. I mean, just 2, 3, 4 figures tops usually. Um, I mean, they'll be replenishing some of the earlier waves along with it. We'll be waiting on 1 or 2 variants, but those ship separately from the waves. Uh, so yeah, it's just really a couple of figures, and you'll just slowly start to see them trickle out, but eventually they'll be there in big numbers. Um, if you're working on Trap Team now, just think of Enigma. You know, he was a little hard to find when he first came out, but now I personally can walk into just about any store and find him. So um, it all evens out over time. Um, but I hope that gives you a little better idea of how the waves work and what to expect when uh, as we move into a new game here. So just keep an eye on that. Um, I will keep you informed on new waves when they're coming out. The Facebook page is probably the best page to keep track of that. I also have the release dates page. Um, I'll put a link to that in the description below. But you know, I help you any way I can. Just stay tuned, and we'll keep you on track. And that's all for this episode of SCL Tips. If you like what you hear, you want more tips, tricks, news, walkthroughs, please subscribe to my channel, and we'll keep bringing you the news.